putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson. Here's the Kevin Jackson Show. I'm glad you're here. Oh, my goodness. So we talked a lot today, about everything to be thankful for in Thanksgiving. It's obviously after Thanksgiving. We've got a fresh new week. We head into the holiday season. And I always, this time of year, I get nostalgic, but I don't get nostalgic over things. I get nostalgic because I look at the year in review and I ask myself, did I give it my all? What could I have done better? What should I have focused on? And so on and so forth. And I'll be honest with you, over the past 9 years, almost 9 years that I've been doing this, I don't look back and regret the effort that I put into it. I regret the idea that I have to put that kind of effort in, if that makes sense. But it's all for the cause of freedom. And we've talked a lot today because I called today's show TikTok, meaning we all have this clock ticking. It's ticking inside of your own mind. And I listen to my 10-year-old. He talks about life. And it's funny, like he'll say things like, well, when I die, when I'm old and when I die. And I think about when I was his age, I will never forget asking myself how old I would be at the year 2000. And it seems so far off. And now we're 17 years beyond, almost 18 years beyond that date. And, I'm getting old. I actually pulled a muscle playing basketball the other day. Made me mad. I tweaked it earlier, but I pulled it doing nothing. It was routine. Getting old. Hadn't pulled that muscle. I think I can count on my 2 fingers how many times I pulled a calf muscle, but I did. I pulled a calf muscle. So, we're getting older, but the idea that we should be enjoying life as opposed to, fighting life. And leftists want us in chaos. They want us fighting life. But we do this. We fight hard. We get up every day and we fight hard because of one word: freedom. And when I keep thinking about this North Korean guy who escaped and got freedom in South Korea, and what must have been going through his mind as that was happening. North Korea lost one heck of a person, because the mindset it took for him to say, I've had enough. I tell people this, and I was watching with one of my friends. He came in from St. Louis, and we were watching The Godfather. And I said to him, I don't know if you could make these kind of movies with me, because if you were the kind of guy who ran, the city, and you were, mean-spirited and taking money from people and, just a bad guy, I'd see you out one day and I'd just go shoot you. And I wouldn't think 2 seconds about it. I wouldn't think about, I'm going to go to jail. Now, I don't want people thinking, Kevin, you're just a mean-spirited guy. No, I'm saying if you're a heinous criminal, how these guys will sit around the coffee table or whatever, and they'll have their henchmen, and, they're at a restaurant, and whatever it is. And people know, that's the guy that runs the mafioso family, blah, blah, blah. And if he's, wreaking havoc in my neighborhood, I would have no qualms on taking the dude out. None. You couldn't make a movie like that. And honestly, I figure everybody's that way. But you know what? It's not the case. There are people who will know you're a bad guy, like in the black neighborhood. They'll know that's the dude, man. He'll shoot you for no reason. And then they'll be like, hey, man, what's up? And I think to myself, if that guy will shoot you for no reason, he's a menace. So maybe I'm just a vigilante that goes, we can't have that kind of person walking around. You want to know why? Because he interrupts your freedom. You want safety. You don't want to feel like you get up and you have to be on alert for that guy, and you don't even know what's the reason that's going to make him want to do something bad to you. That is a loss of your freedom. And let me tell you something, folks. You're getting up every day and you're living in a world exactly like that. Leftists who want to take away your freedom. And I watched that little North Korean dude, 5'5", 132 pounds, with tuberculosis, hepatitis C, malnutritioned, with 3 kinds of worms in his stomach, jet across that DMZ and to freedom with 5 bullets in him. And I think to myself, would you fight for freedom like that? Is it worth that to you, to where you would go through that, you would endure that? And let me tell you something. I don't know anything about that man, except his name is O. And when he escaped, I was like, oh, because that dude, man, he booked it across the line. I talked about it earlier. I don't need to cover it again, but he booked it. And so I think about, he woke up, 5 bullets in him, tape, all kinds of worms, hep C, blah, blah, blah. And he woke up to freedom. And his biggest fear was being sent back. And they assured him, you're not going back. So I can only believe that God has a purpose for him, and that he had to be thinking, oh, thank you, Lord. But what was funny, sad, when he got to South Korea, he completely collapsed. It was like he had enough energy, enough gusto to get across. Now, I feel sorry for North Korea, because a guy with that kind of chutzpah to do that is an amazing guy. He's somebody you want running businesses and things like this. Now, where would he have gone back to? He would have gone back to North Korean prison life. There's a camp they call Camp 22. It closed in 2012 after somebody defected. But extreme human rights violations occurred there, including torture, of course, forced labor, human medical experiments. So we're talking Nazi type stuff. And I'm alluded to the idea that this isn't, take the worst prison in America, a San Quentin, a Rahway, whatever. And it's nothing compared to these types of camps, of prisons. These are Auschwitz. These are places where you are at the whim of a madman. Families of inmates who are viewed as guilty by association are also sent to these camps. So if Kim Jong-un doesn't like Kevin Jackson, he can say, put his whole family into prison. And he does this because he wants that family to completely reject you, your family to reject you. He wants nobody who will, as I said, walk up to him. He's a public guy. Anybody in the military could end it. It's some low-level corporal could just say, pow, and that's it. And I'm telling you, the mentality that for somebody to not do that, that's the thing I'm more curious about. Why is there not one person in North Korea who can witness the suffering of their people and say, you know what, I can end this right now? Deprived of food, forced to eat rats and frogs to survive, cramped cells infested with lice, regular beatings, potential fatal torture. These are the norms in these prisons. Forget hard labor, pulling plows across the field 12 hours a day. Why? Because they don't have any animals. 200,000 victims estimated of Kim Jong-un's despotic rule. Utter wretched lives in these internment camps, and the left looks the other way. You have leftists tweeting things like, America's like North Korea. Just the nerve of one of these leftists to say that. Camps are patrolled by guards. They've got automatic weapons, hand grenades. They've got dogs all around them. Prisoners routinely deprived of water, food. Torture includes things like sleep deprivation, beatings, kicking, slapping, enforced sitting or standing for hours. You've seen what's that movie Angelina Jolie made with when they got the Japanese internment camps? Asians know how to torture, man. Inmates allowed one set of clothes. They live and die in rags without soap, socks, underclothes, or sanitary napkins. Yeah. So this is what Kaepernick says is his oppression. I'd like you to compare it to that. By the way, the Citizen of the Year is who I'm talking about here, Colin Kaepernick. They want to badmouth America, particularly during our celebration, our independence on Thanksgiving. On that day, a man sought refuge in a country where people live free. And I'm willing to bet that North Korean will exchange places with Kaepernick or these other oppressed blacks. But none of these people will fight as hard to leave the freedom that veterans have fought to maintain.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.